In her poem, Still I Rise, the late Maya Angelou said, "Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave." Good evening and greetings from the National Council of Negro Women. NCNW was founded in 1935 by Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, whose name and legacy is just as mighty as the great Harriet Tubman when we speak of our heroines of Black history. On one hand, we have Harriet Tubman, a runaway slave turned abolitionist. On the other hand, we have Mary McLeod Bethune, who was the first child born into her family post-slavery. She grew up to become a huge civil rights activist, among other things. These two giants may have been born into different times and circumstances, but they had so much in common. After all, freedom by any other name is civil rights. So, we have two Black female activists. Can you imagine what a conversation between them would have been like? We believe it would go a little something like this.
The Path and the Promise. The scene is a quiet park bench beneath an ancient oak tree. The sun sets in the background, casting golden hues over the landscape. Birds chirp as the breeze rustles the leaves. Mary McLeod Bethune, dressed in a dignified dark dress with a lace collar, sits with her hands folded, her eyes filled with wisdom. Besides her, Harriet Tubman, wrapped in a sturdy shawl, her face lined with the strength of many battles, looks over the horizon as if she is searching for the next path forward.
As a child, I was sent to watch over white babies. I would rock them to sleep in their cradle, but if they woke up, I would be beaten. I couldn't help but see that the only differences between white babies and Black ones were the ones that they made up. Why couldn't we be free too?
Same here. When I was a girl, I helped my mama deliver white people's wash to their homes. I would go into the children's nurseries and look at the books. The little white girl took the book from me and told me that I couldn't read. I thought, I can't read only because you don't want me to. But I'm going to learn, and then I'm going to teach others. Learning is a type of freedom. That is why they didn't want us to have it. I walked 5 miles to and from school every day.
And that is why you made sure to spread it like wildfire, learning everything you could, teaching your family, then opening schools. You believed in freedom of the mind. I wanted that too. And I proved it later on in life when I participated in the women's suffrage movement. But first I had to get my physical freedom from the chains and lashes, and not just for myself. I wasn't satisfied till we all was free.
And I wasn't satisfied until we all could read and write and see pride in who we were as people, see ourselves the way the Lord saw us.
The Lord saw me, spoke to me, and guided my path as sure as the North Star did. Even with my spells, I never lost a passenger on the Underground Railroad.
In the early years, I vowed to never lose a student. We didn't have much, but we made do. We as a school made what we could, sold what we could, fundraised, and I appealed to the community at large. We went from a small rental house to eventually becoming a full-fledged university. Of course, there were politics to consider.
There's always politics to consider. When the Fugitive Slave Act was passed, I became a wanted woman. They hunted me down, but the God we serve will always allow us to end on the right side of the law. I went from being a fugitive to being a spy for the Union Army during the Civil War and leading an armed charge that freed 300 slaves. It was you, Mary, a dream that there could be a you, a Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, a dream that kept me alive and going. A woman as black as me, proud as me, humble as me, and God-fearing. Someone who would walk next to 4 presidents and not bow her head or lower her eyes. A woman advising men on government, civics, and education. You had a seat at the table.
Well, you chopped down the tree that the table was made from. So if there was no you, then there wouldn't have been a me. You ran so that I could fly. I knew that the best way to pay homage to the ancestors was to continue to strive to be better and set a goal of financial, educational, and political freedom for all people of color. Emancipation was the goal, no matter how you look at it. And due to the fact every progressive black woman can be considered a daughter of Harriet Tubman. So I thank you, the Moses of our people, for lighting the fire of independence.
And I thank you for grabbing the torch and keeping it running.
Black women have always been at the heart of history, shaping movements, leading innovation, and breaking barriers. But what if their voices from the past could speak to us today? What wisdom would they share? What lessons would they remind us of?
Conversation across time. In a small cafe in present-day America, the air hums with chatter of patrons, the clicking of coffee cups, and the occasional ding of a barista bell. At the corner table, 2 women sit across each other. Sojourner Truth, a tall, dignified woman in a simple dress and shawl, and Shirley Chisholm, impeccably dressed in a bold colored suit. They sip their tea, observing the world around them.
Miss Truth, I must say, it is an honor to share this moment with you. You were the first to demand justice at a time when justice had no ears for women, especially Black women.
The honor is shared, sister. The Lord gave me the work to do, and I did it. As I once told the folks, if women want any rights more than they've got, why don't just take them and not be talking about it?
And yet, here we are still talking about it. Some things have changed, but not nearly enough.
I see that. I hear much about rights, but I still ask, ain't I a woman? I fought for freedom and truth, and yet the chains of oppression changed their shape, but not their weight.
That's why I went into politics. When I ran for Congress, they told me a Black woman had no place there. When I ran for president, they laughed, but I told them, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair.
Now that is something I would have liked to see. A woman standing where only men thought they belonged. But tell me, child, did they listen?
Not at first, but I didn't wait for their permission. I fought for education, equal pay, and justice, not just for Black women, but for everyone left out of the conversation. I said, service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth.
A righteous cause indeed. I walked miles and miles speaking against slavery, standing for women. They threw stones, but I kept walking. And still, the fight continues.
Yes, women lead movements, but they are still pushed aside. Black voices rise, but they are still silenced. We march, we vote, we demand, but progress is low.
Then we must press on. They once told me, women can't do this. I said, where does your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Men had nothing to do with it. If women can bring life into this world, they can surely bring change to it.
That's why we can never be silent. You, Harriet, Ida, Fannie Lou, and so many others walked so I could run. And I ran so others could fly.
Then let us keep running, keep flying until every woman, every child, and every forgotten soul can stand tall, free, and unafraid.
To the work.
To the truth.